So in this presentation we are going to discuss about the object-oriented programming and the Java characteristics. Generally, comparing to the languages like C programming, Java programming is purely depends on the objects, whereas in the C programming we don't have such an option. But when we are going to deal with the real world problems with the help of Java programming, objects plays a very big role. About that object and its characteristics, first we will see in the next slide. The object-oriented programming, the aim of the OOPS concept is to implement the real-world entities. As I said that, for example, it contains the objects, classes, abstractions, inheritance, polymorphism, etc. So these are all the properties of the object-oriented programming. Object means we know that it is a real-world entity, such as any examples you can take like pen, chair, table, computer, watches, and etc. Object-oriented programming is a methodology or a paradigm for designing a program using the classes and objects. So without the objects, the members of the classes cannot be accessed. A skeleton, you can call it as a template, or you can call it as a blueprint that contains the essential information in the classes that can get executed with the help of an object. So that is what the object-oriented programming is, particularly the connectivity between the classes and object is, because without understanding the difference between or the connectivity between the classes and objects, it is not possible to understand how the Java programming is getting executed. Because class contains the members variables, methods, or it can contains the constructors or any block of codes. Anything may be there in the class. The members, generally we used to call it as a members of the class. That members of the classes are accessed through an objects. We need to create an object for the class. Through that objects, the members can be accessed. It simplifies the software development and maintenance by providing some concepts. Basically, as I said, that object is a real world entity. Class contains the skeleton or the blueprint of the complete programming. So whatever the members of the classes are mandatory for your object, for your program, that can be called by creating an object for that particular class. You can make use of the members which is available in one class that can be accessed by the another classes also, which means that the properties of the classes, the parent classes, can be accessed through extending its subclass. For example, parent class may be there, subclasses may be there. That subclasses can extend the properties. The properties in the sense the members of that particular class, like variables, methods, constructors, or any block of course, anything that it may be, that can accessed by the subclasses also by extending it the property. For that we generally use the keyword called extends. With the help of the keyword using extends, that can be extended to the subclasses. Generally we can call it as a parent class and child class, or it can be called it as base class and derived class, or it can call it as super class and subclasses. Multiple multiple terms that you can use it for representing the inheritance, but the Java supports for single inheritance. One single parent class will be there and single child class will be there. The properties of the parent class can be accessed by that single child. So this is called a single inheritance. Multi-level inheritance is also possible. Multi-level inheritance in the sense class A may be there, class B can extend class A properties, also class C can extend class B properties, which means that class C is getting the rights of accessing the class B. Since it is the child of class B, it is getting the opportunity to access the properties of class A also. So that is called as a multi-level inheritance. For your understanding, grandparent may be there, parents may be there, and children may be there. Children is having the possibility for accessing the property of parent as well as their grandparents also. This is what the multi-level inheritance is. And as far as inheritance is concerned, one more property is there, namely called hierarchical inheritance. It is little bit different from the multi-level inheritance. Here the class A property can be accessed by class B, as well as class A property can be accessed by class C, but class C will not get the opportunity to access the property of class B. So this is called as multi-level inheritance. About that with example we will discuss in the forthcoming topics, but still that is what the class hierarchical inheritance is. Single inheritance is having only single child and or single parent and single child. Multi-level inheritance, multiple classes may be there that can be named as parents, grandparent class, parent class and child class. Since parent class is extending the property of grandparent and the child is extending the property of parent, obviously child is getting an opportunity to access the property of grandparent also. Similar, the next point is hierarchical inheritance. Similar like the multi-level inheritance, class B is extending class A, class C is also extending class A, not extending the class B. In this case, class B is accessing the property of class A and the class C is also accessing the property of class A, but not the class B properties. So this is called as hierarchical inheritance. Also, the drawback of inheritance is Java inheritance does not support for multiple inheritance. For example, class A is inherited by class B, class C is inherited by class B. We know that is called as multi-level inheritance. But class C cannot extend the properties of class A and class B. We cannot write the code class C extends A comma B. That is not possible. Why? Because the methods which is declared in class A and class B may be same. When we are trying to access the property of that class, we are, for example, we are having the method called void display in class A and class B. Suppose if class C extends A comma B, if it is trying to call the method called void display, the compiler gets confused which method need to be executed in the child class. So to avoiding that, we are introducing the property called interface in Java. So about that also we are going to discuss briefly about the interfaces in the forthcoming topics. Next, one more important property is called polymorphism. Polymorphism, one method may have n number of forms. So that is called as a polymorphism. Poly in the sense many forms it may have. As I said, that void display method. This polymorphism can be classified as two types. One is compile time polymorphism and another one is runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism is generally called as method overloading and runtime polymorphism is called as method overriding. Overloading and overriding is different, as you know that function overloading we have studied in C programming. Similarly, we are going to use the same thing in Java also. Here two methods may have same name with a different parameters. This can get executed within the class itself. One method may have different arguments, but the name of the methods may be same. So this is called as method overloading. This can get executed within the class, but method overriding in the sense there will not be any changes in the method name and as well as the arguments and as well as the return type. Everything will be same. So such a case cannot get executed in the single class. For example, void display method may be available in parent class and as well as the same grandparent class also. In the grandparent class also we may have the void display method, but when it is getting executed in the child class, according to the object created for that particular class, that overridden method will be called, not the previous one. So that is what override concept is. So when we are incorporating the method called overriding, it calls the overridden method only, not the ancient method or the original method. So this is about the polymorphism is. As far as abstraction is concerned, when we are going to introduce the interface concept, abstraction plays a very big role, which means that the essential informations will not be displayed in the class itself. only the skeleton alone will be given. The implementation is taken care in that particular class. So that is what the abstraction is. Encapsulation is nothing but a concept of hiding the informations, or you can call it as a data binding. So about that we are going to discuss in the forthcoming topics in the presentations clearly. So this is what the overview of object-oriented programming is. So the characteristics of Java, it is very simple to use. It is object oriented, as we know that. It is platform independent. The Java programming developed in one operating system can get executed in another operating system also. So that is why it is called as platform independent. It is very secure. That is why in the essential and sensitive applications like banking sector and all, still we are dealing with Java. It is error free, it is robust, it is multi-threaded, because any number of threads may be there. It can get executed parallelly in different areas, but still it executes successfully. It is architectural neutral, it is portable, high performance, it is distributed and dynamic. So this is about the characteristics of Java. So it is having the environment called Java runtime environment and Java development kit. These are all the main important components that are mainly used in Java. JVM is called as Java virtual machine. It don't have the physical machine, it is a virtual machine. It is incorporated, or it is accompanied with the set of libraries and other files. So the combination of set of libraries and another files are with the JVM is called as a Java runtime environment. The combination of development tools addition to the Java runtime environment is called as Java development kit. So through this only the Java programming is getting executed. So this is the general structure of Java. It contains the classes, it is having the main method, and as well as it is having the statements which is need to be executed. So whatever the number of classes may be there in Java programming, because Java may have a number of classes, but where the main method is declared, from there only the execution starts. Everybody knows that similar to the C programming, void function, that is main function, execution starts from the main function. Here also the execution starts from the main method. So that is exclusively called as public static void main. So this is what the overview of Java programming is. So rest of the things will be executed, the rest of the things will be explained in the forthcoming sessions clearly. Thank you for your patience.